I first started talking about this idea of house hushing last spring, and it took off. It's one of the top 3 concepts now that women will say have helped them to get their house fully decluttered and simplified. So the idea of inventory, 5 minutes matters, and house hushing are profound. And here's what's so funny. I accidentally hushed the whole upstairs of my parents' house where the kids and I have been staying for the last year. Was not even thinking about this. It was a total accident. So today I want to tell you how that happened, 5 profound things that we learned through the process, why even a month later, we're keeping it pretty bare up here, and how you can hush your house really quickly and have these same incredible results. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom. I've been a minimalist for 10 years now, and this idea of house hushing is not my own. So this idea comes from Michael Smith from The Nester, and so she came up with this idea of house hushing where we take everything out of a room. So generally the idea is that you pick one space in your house, you take everything out. Decor, knickknacks, pictures, framed artwork, pillows, throw blankets. The only things you leave in this space are big pieces of furniture or other necessary items to live in that space. But you pick a space, you clear everything out, and then you live with it for a minimum of 24 hours, but hopefully even a little bit longer. And so that's the concept of it. And so we're going to talk about what the benefits are, how do you reintroduce stuff, how do you choose which space to do, and these 5 mind-blowing benefits. I think this is why women tell me that this is so profound, is because they did not even realize what was happening in their own home until they did this. And then you experience these 5 things and you're like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. I have to tell everybody about it, and I want to do it in every single room in my house, right? So like I said, we've been living with my parents for about a year now, and half the time the kids are here, half the time I'm here by myself. And up here on their 2nd level, there are 3 bedrooms. So it's worked out really well. I have my bedroom over here. Behind me is the boys' bedroom, and then the girls' bedroom is right over here too. And when we moved in a little over a year ago, I shared some of the process of clearing stuff out. The upstairs of my parents' house hadn't been being used, and so during that time, we cleared a ton of stuff out of here. My mom has been so gracious and kind and understanding and cooperative and just all of that, right? And so she was just so kind to let us move stuff out. We donated a ton of stuff. We relocated some things, and her and my dad just kind of allowed us to take over the upstairs here. Now, this landing here at the top of the steps, there was still a little bit of a mishmash of just some existing stuff and then stuff that had crept in of the kids and mine. But really overall, we'd been trying to keep the inventory pretty low. I know after 10 years of living minimally that we just all do better with low inventory. So I had this great idea. Why don't we put brand new carpet upstairs? All of the rooms had different pieces of carpet. They were remnants, mishmash. The carpet on the landing was well over 30 years old. And when you put new carpet in, it feels fresh and new and cohesive when it all matches in all the rooms. I think that would just feel really good. OMG, what I did not expect was how much stuff had actually accumulated up here. Now, here's the problem. I was not thinking that this is the journey I was going on of house hushing. I just thought we were putting in new carpet. So I didn't get before videos or even the process of us emptying out. So I do regret that. But we knew the carpet installers were coming on a Thursday morning. And so we had been working to declutter. We had gotten a lot of donations out, garbage. And then the afternoon before, I was like, okay, anything extra, we're just gonna bring down to the living room downstairs. And so then we worked on doing that. I could not believe how much stuff was down there when we did that. I was like, how do we have all of this stuff? And I know how. It was been a year with 4 kids and birthdays and Christmas and treasures and dollar stores and garage sales and I'm gonna try this or that or whatever, right? I know how it accumulates, but I was shocked how much stuff we had actually accumulated. So we got everything down there. I'm horrified by the amount of inventory here, right? But here's what I was not expecting. They came, we had to repair some boards on the landing on the floor. My brother was so helpful and great. They came, got the new carpet in a matter of hours. What I was not expecting was that the kids and I came back upstairs and we were just like, can we just leave it this way? It was so peaceful and relaxing and calming. You walked up here and you kind of just wanted to sit on the floor and just sit and do nothing, right? It was so inviting. It was just so peaceful. And so then if you've gone through this house hushing process, you actually become very protective of the space. So I want to talk about then that process of how you invite stuff back into the space. And so one of the rooms I inadvertently hushed was my bedroom. And now my bedroom was pretty simple already, but going even further felt so good. And it makes it, I believe, when our bedroom is really highly simplified, I think it makes it easier to promote good sleep. Now, the other thing that helps to promote really good sleep is a brand new mattress. And today's video is sponsored by Helix Sleep. They have a huge sale going on right now. It's their 4th of July exclusive partner sale, and you can save 27% site-wide, whether you need a new mattress or you'll have to check out their new mattress toppers as well. This is an awesome way to sleep better on a mattress that you already have. And so Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and conveniently shipped right to your door with free shipping in the US. The mattress comes rolled up in a box and it's so easy to set up, and then you get to test it out. So you get 100 nights to test out your new mattress and make sure that it's just the right fit for you. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses to choose from, and Helix just launched a variety of mattress toppers as well. These are perfect for making an existing non-Helix mattress more comfortable. And so we picked the premium memory foam topper for Adeline's bed. This quick 5-minute upgrade made such a big difference in her sleep quality. She loves it and is so glad that she has it. And the best part is it only takes about 30 seconds to get matched with your perfect mattress as well. So you go online, you take the Helix Sleep quiz, answer a few questions, and they're gonna let you know what is the best fit. So for me, it's the Helix Dusk. And so I've been sleeping on a Helix mattress for 4 years now. We've recommended all of our family, extended family, friends. I would not recommend it to you unless I fully believed in it, but my sister just upgraded the mattress in their guest bedroom to the Helix Midnight, and she said they've had 3 different people sleep on it, and she said every single one of them was like, oh my goodness, what is this mattress? It is so comfortable. And so of course I want that for you too. Sleep is so important, you know that, so we can be in a good mood, we can function well, our brain can function well, we can make good decisions. So I love my Helix mattress. I would not sleep on anything else, and right now is the perfect time to upgrade with the Helix 4th of July exclusive partner sale. So again, save 27% off site-wide if you use our link, helixsleep.com/minimalmom. It's in the description down below and also in the pinned comment, and they have some flexible payment plans available too. But let's talk through a few of these benefits because I experienced these in a brand new, fresh way, and they totally blew my mind, and I want you to be able to experience these benefits too. So number 1, a hushed space calms your nervous system. Visual clutter constantly sends micro stress signals to our brains. When a room is hushed, your brain can finally rest. Neuroscientist Dr. Sherry Berg Carter notes that clutter bombards our minds with excess stimuli, making it harder to relax and focus. A hushed space eliminates that overload. And I love this quote by Gordon Hempton. He's an acoustic ecologist, and he says, "Silence is not the absence of something, but the presence of everything." And so we live in such a crazy, noisy, busy, overstimulating world. And so I think, in the past, it might have been okay to have extra inventory and things around us all the time. We might have been able to tolerate it a little bit better. But these days, I think the world is shouting at us all of the time, and we are managing so many details that it's never been more important for us all to have a peaceful, calm place to come home to. And so that is 1000% what I experienced when we got this space hushed, is that it felt calm and peaceful and inviting. It felt like you just had room to breathe and think and let your guard down and restore and reset and rejuvenate. All those things that we really want our home to be. All right, I really like this one a lot. Number 2, a hushed house gives you honest feedback. Once a space is stripped back, you can see what's actually working or not working. The silence shows you what you actually use. It gives you a lot of clarity. It's like hitting reset. You get to notice the missing function or how the light hits the room in the morning. You couldn't see that before through all of the layers. And I love what Fumio Sasaki says in his book, Goodbye Things. He says that the things you truly need will become clear once everything else is gone. The things you truly need will become clear once everything else is gone. And I think that's so true. We really only generally get this experience when we move. And even then, we're just real quick to bring everything back in that was in that same room in our old house or that we think should be in that room. So this is an invitation to get to decide for yourself, what do we actually use in this space? And yes, if you look closely, I maybe did not finish painting. And so we did paint when we moved in. The color is Locally Sewn by Magnolia Homes. I really like it. We've used this everywhere. We're missing a little trim. But even now, finishing up these little projects, it doesn't actually feel like that big a deal. It actually feels really easy and kind of enjoyable too. And so I'm looking forward to getting all of just these like little projects. I've kind of bounced around my parents' house and like started all these different projects. I'm actually really looking forward to getting them finished up, and that's going to feel really good. Our brains do not like open loops like that. Part of what brings peace, I think, to our home is not only getting it highly simplified and decluttered, but also being able to close these open loops and finish all these little projects. And isn't it amazing how once all the stuff is moved out, that feels very practical and doable and possible, where before when there was more stuff around, you'd have to move the stuff to get to it. It just felt like a chore. So I am looking forward to getting all these little things finished up too. Number 3, a hush room makes room for growth. Hushing a room allows it to grow with us, to change, to be flexible. It doesn't have to be frozen in time. I think about going to my grandma's house or my other grandma's apartment, and they were the exact same, like my whole childhood. Even I think back on our house growing up, it didn't really change a lot. And I think, again, maybe that was okay back then. But now, I think our spaces need to be more flexible, and we don't see it that way. We just kind of think like, well, this is the stuff that's in a living room. This is the stuff that's in a kitchen. Of course it's going to be there. I've had it. I got it for a wedding gift. Someone gave it to me. My husband wanted it. I got it at a garage sale, and this is just what's in here. Instead of stopping and saying, you know what, our season has changed. The kids are different ages. They have different interests. We have different interests. We use this space differently, or I am sensitive to all the extra stuff in here. I don't like how it feels anymore. And so even in this space up here, you know, it was kind of a random space. We hadn't really assigned it a purpose. It was a mishmash of leftover stuff that was up here. And again, it was fine. My mom had just been so awesome with how much she had let us clear it out and move our stuff in and all of that. And so it was fine that there were still some pieces of furniture and different things that have been hanging out up here. Totally fine, right? But once we got everything out, we could say, okay, what do we want to use this space for? Is there anything that's kind of been missing since we've been here? And so the girls had said, you know, it would actually be really nice to have a keyboard here with the weighted keys because we don't have any kind of keyboard or piano here. And so it would actually be really nice if we had a space for that. Now, there's not room in their bedroom for it, and we didn't really have any other ideas where we could put it. Guess what? We have a perfect space for it now. There's actually 2 spaces here that we can put it, right? And so we get to reimagine this space and use it to its fullest. We can really maximize this space now that we have a clean slate, a fresh perspective, and then decide how we want to use it instead of being locked in to the past. You know, and I was thinking that like, oh, well, maybe we could put a comfy chair in this corner or something. Like, it feels kind of bare. There should be a chair or something there, right? And then I was like, let's play this forward a little bit, shall we? We put a nice comfy chair there. Stuff gets piled on it. It's one more thing that we have to try and keep clean. Are we really lacking for comfy chairs around the whole entire house to sit? Not really, but it feels like there should be something there, right? So again, maybe we'll get a piano, maybe we'll put something else there, or maybe we won't. Like maybe for this season right now, it's just okay to have a completely empty corner, and maybe that feels really good to our brains right now. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. Number 4, a hushed space highlights what matters. When there's less visual noise, your favorite pieces like a photo or a handmade quilt or a beautiful chair finally get the attention that they deserve. And so I've been thinking about this lately. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about like, what are your values? Like, what are your main values? Now, some of us think there's values like we should have or should, you know, like if you're a mom, then like your number one value should be family or kids, or it should be spouse and then kids, or, you know, whatever. But I was listening to this podcast and it was Jay Shetty on the On Purpose podcast, and he was like, well, my top value is actually purpose. He's like, my wife's is family. And so she would always put a family event over a work thing or something else. And he's like, I felt like maybe I should have been doing the same thing, right? That's very noble and honorable, right? But he's like, my top value is purpose. An event that I can go to and speak or do something that I feel is purposeful just fills my soul. And so I was thinking about it too of well, what are my values? And I mean, I definitely think purpose in the form of helping others, and you know, family is up there too, and learning new things. I love learning new things and then getting to talk about it. And so those are definitely my values. And so I'd love, even if you want to leave a comment, like what would be your top 3 or 4 values if you were to list them out right now. And then though, let's take it a step further. Does your home and your space reflect that? You know, as I looked around and then, you know, there's just clutter and old toys and old, clothes that the kids were no longer wearing or had grown out of or just didn't like anymore, and some extra throw blankets and things like that. Does that reflect our values? Not necessarily. It wasn't really making a space for us to spend time together, to unwind, to say like, oh, if I want to, exert energy into helping others and learning and growing, like I need an open space where I can rest and relax and recharge. And so does your space reflect your values? Now, again, if we set this space up as a place where the girls can do music, which they love, well, that would absolutely reflect our values, right? In this current season. Could that change down the road? Absolutely, right? But we have the flexibility in both the space and mindset now to allow that to happen. And then number 5, a hushed space creates an invitation, not a demand. So instead of our spaces demanding our attention, and Fumio Sasaki was also the one that came up with the idea of the silent to-do list, right? Clean me, take care of me, don't forget about me, sort me, fix me. A hushed room becomes actually very quiet. And what's been fun to see now is that it feels like the kids have really been enjoying keeping their rooms clean and tidy. I'll often come up and they're vacuuming, they've been straightening up their beds, picking stuff up off the floor. Their rooms have stayed so clean now. And this space too, like I said, has been staying cleared out as well. And so a hushed space is so much easier to keep clean. It's not demanding things of you. It's just this gentle invitation of like, oh, have you noticed? It feels nice when I'm picked up and things are put together. But if we have too much inventory around us, it is nearly impossible. It is so hard to keep cluttered spaces clean. We feel a little frazzled and unsettled. We don't know where to put stuff. It feels like it's never actually done because you might get it tidied up, but there's still so much stuff around that's just kind of like mocking you and reminding you that it's not actually fully done. But when there is so little inventory in here, it's so easy to keep clean, and it actually is enjoyable to do so. So I think it feels very natural to want to clean these spaces and keep them clean and protect that peace that's here, instead of in the past where it's like, oh, we gotta clean our rooms, oh, we gotta vacuum, and trying to like have a schedule and stick to it and remind the kids and reward them and all this. It feels like a very natural rhythm to keep this space clean and tidy once it's been this highly decluttered and simplified. And so I get it. For some, this could feel so weird, right? Like, oh, okay, so the only way to keep my house clean is just to have nothing in it. The only way to have a peaceful house is just to have nothing in it. I mean, yes and no, right? We match the inventory with our season of life and what we can actually keep up. And this, like in this wild, busy season right now, our kids are ages 10 through 15, right? This is kind of what feels manageable. Who would have thought we'd have to go to this low of inventory? And most households, if you have more than one child, have a collector. And so that's our youngest. And it's a process. We've talked about like treasure bins. That's definitely been a helpful tool before. But we also made, they actually moved the corner that their bunk beds were in when we put the furniture back. And we put up this little shelf in the corner for some of Gagey's treasures. And that has been working really well. Now, he's the type that will just fill it full, right? So we're always talking about like how many things should we put on and moving out some older things when something new comes in. 1 in, 2 out, 1 in, 1 out is nice, but 1 in, 2 out is even better. But it is nice for him to have some little spaces where he can keep his stuff, but then we use the container concept to kind of control how much is allowed to be on there. Okay, so those are just the 5 like really cool benefits that we've been experiencing over the past month, but let's talk a little more about the nitty gritty. So we got everything moved out. It went down to the living room downstairs, which I was horrified by how much stuff it actually was, but it allowed us to get to experience this and then want to protect it. And so what we did from there was we donated more things. We brought things back up selectively. We were so selective of what we brought up. Even some things that maybe felt valuable before this process. Like if we wouldn't have fully moved it out and we were just holding up items and decluttering, they probably would have made the cut. But now all of a sudden we have this totally different perspective of protecting the piece up here. And so it felt so different. It was like, ooh, no, not worth it. Piece worth so much more than that item that I maybe once in a while use. And so we donated some more things. And then we also just moved some stuff down to an extra room in the basement that I wanted to just use as kind of time will tell and like a staging area. And that was so helpful because I wasn't fully ready after a few days to make the decision with all of the stuff if we wanted to keep it or not. And also we have one that stays in this bedroom that is super attached to his stuff. And he wanted to bring everything back up right away. And I'm like, no, 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 hold the phone. Like, I was like, we can bring 2 or 3 items back up per day. And so initially I was kind of like, no, we got to get everything back up there. But then as I was like, hey, let's just go slower. And this process of like, pick out a couple things or 1 or 2 each day, it caused him to look at his stuff differently. And this might be helpful for those in your household too, to say, okay, sometimes we look at all of our stuff and we're like, it's all special, it's all, but it's like, well, no, that's not true. Some things are truly more special than others. And so we're very selective. And through that process, because my fear was just their room getting all cluttered up again. But through that process, then it became okay to let some of the other stuff go down to the basement and not back up here. And I did create a full-size Rubbermaid tote treasure bin for him to put some of the extra stuff in. So again, not quite ready to fully declutter it. So we kind of created this intermediary step of a treasure bin, and that works great. And that's been very effective for him in the past. And I do want to also acknowledge that sometimes this process of house hushing, some have said like, I don't like how it feels. It's too bare, it's unsettling, and especially if you've ever gone through a season in your life where you really didn't have enough. This can sometimes be a reminder of that. So know yourself, know how far you want to go, but also what you might find and what I've heard from other women is that as you sit with it a little longer, initially it feels too bare, too stark, too like, what are we doing? Like, who would ever want to live this way? But then as you let your brain slowly adjust to it, that's when you start to feel the sense of relief and peace, and you get to the point where you really want to protect it. So don't worry like, oh, we're just going to fill it back up. We're just going to bring everything back in. No, I truly think you're going to get to a place just like we have where you want to protect that, where you're like, this space feels so good. I want to keep it that way. I only want to bring in the essentials and the bare minimum. But it is, again, like really surprising to me. It's been a month and we are just in no rush to get stuff back up here. I walk up here and it's just open space and I feel like my brain just has a sigh of relief of like, oh, it just feels so good. And I keep my room like really clean. Sometimes, clothes and stuff would get piled up or whatnot. And I'm like, no, like it just feels so good. Another thing though that even surprised me was I just had a few things on top of my dresser. I had chosen them. I was very selective about them. I liked the things on there. Once I had it cleared off, I'm like, I don't even want anything back on there. I had a little side table next to my bed. You know me, getting rid of nightstands, right? And the movers, when they put my bed back, they put it closer to the wall so the little side table wouldn't fit. And so I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to get Corbin. I'm gonna have to try and move the bed over. And I'm like, or we don't have to put the side table back. I wasn't actually really using it, and flat surfaces just collect stuff. And so then I was like, well, what if I don't put it back? And I'm like, nah, I don't have to. And I liked the bed being moved over a little more. It gave the dresser a little more breathing room, and that all felt good. Even, I'd had this like throw blanket that I thought was really beautiful on the end of my bed. But once it was off, I was like, no, I think right now for this season, just not having decorative pillows, I know, not having a throw blanket, wow, it just feels so peaceful. It feels easy. It feels relaxing. It feels like I can come in here and let my brain unwind. And so again, I was surprised by this because my space was fairly minimal already. And so I really want to encourage you to try this in your own home. So again, you pick a space, and I'll link to videos. We did it on our kitchen with the boys' room. And so I can link to those so you can see how we did it in those spaces. You pick a room, you pull out everything that you possibly can, you put it in an adjacent space. This isn't super ideal, but you find a space where you can put it away for a few days, and then you very selectively bring stuff back in. So if you have the energy and the capacity to do something like this, go to town. It is going to be so eye-opening for you, and you are going to love it. If you don't have that much energy, physical energy, bandwidth right now, just pick a flat surface. Maybe it's your dining room table. Maybe it's your kitchen counters. Yes, kitchen counters, that is so powerful. Maybe it is just your dresser or your nightstand. Take everything off, every single thing. Do not even leave a thing on it. Not even something you think should be on that space. Take everything off, let it sit for a few days, and then you'll get to have that same experience as well. Now, also, if you have done this and you've had great results, if you would leave a comment down below, it's so helpful for others to hear your feedback and your ideas as well. Because again, I do think this is like top 3 most profound tactics for getting your house simplified and decluttered that seem to resonate with the most. And so I love that, and we're gonna keep talking about it too. I actually did the full kitchen at that Airbnb that I sometimes go to. It was so good, and I'm excited to share that with you here coming up this summer as well. All right, well, I am passionate about helping you get your house decluttered. If you haven't done so, I'd love it if you subscribe so we can spend more time together. But I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again soon.